Our whole lives, we're trying to figure out who we are, why we were put on this earth at this time with this name. All these godly questions, all these things we'll probably never get the answer for. But they're the hardest things we can ever ask because it's probably the best answers we could ever receive. It's probably our biggest advantage. And I believe the biggest advantage you can have over anybody, over the world, over any competition is yourself, your uniqueness. They can't replicate it. They can't take Jamar away from me and do it the way I do. I promise you they won't be as successful as I am. And I promise you they won't be able to replicate it at all because they don't know who I am. They don't know what I've been through. And so if you can recognize that, if you can recognize that this is the one advantage that nobody else can copy, this is the one thing that nobody can take from you, then you will be able to prioritize that in your life. And if you want to go on with everything else I ever say in this whole season, program, whatever you want to call it, you have to first focus on being yourself. And I want you to understand that this isn't just something I'm thinking of. There are literally, I can't talk right now. There are literally 7 billion people on this earth with 420 billion different DNA combinations with different personalities and perspectives. And we all did it. We all decided we wanted to be like somebody else. We all said, I want to be like him when I grow up. I want to be like Mike when I grow up. But yet, we're not taught this enough. But if we truly want to become the best we can be, if we truly want to hit our potential, whatever that is, we have to have the outlook of, I want to be the best me. Because there's no way we can schedule our lives by somebody else. We have to understand the only way to reach that max potential, the only way to truly start that journey that's the right journey for us, only way to find that path is to decide to take the path meant for us. So if you can make that decision, I promise you life will be so much better for you and it'll be so much more pure. The moment I decided to take that on in my life, the moment I decided I'm going to free myself from everything I was taught in a sense, and I was going to free myself in everything I was doing to be pure to my heart and to do what I loved and to do everything I knew was meant for me, that was the moment I felt the most free. That was the moment I felt the most happiness, and every part of that journey was pure because I knew this obstacle was meant for me. It wasn't an obstacle meant for somebody else, and I continued to push through that obstacle because I knew I loved that obstacle. You have to love every obstacle when you're doing something you love. And if you're doing something you don't love, you're going to see those obstacles and be shying away from continuing to go over that obstacle. And I want y'all to be able to go through every single obstacle that comes through you. But there's a motivation that's unmatched, and that's called passion. And I understand that at the root of everything, you may disagree with me, but I believe at the root of everything is passion. I believe at the root of everything is happiness. And passion and happiness work hand in hand. And when you're passionate about something, if you're passionate about what you do every single day, I promise you those obstacles will get easier. But first, to find your passion, before the passions are even unlocked, my passions weren't unlocked till I did this, you have to be yourself. You have to decide, I'm going to be myself. Because if you're not able to be yourself and not let somebody else judge you on what you're doing, or you're trying this new thing out, it's not going to be available. Because maybe there is this new thing that you want to try out, but everybody else, all your friends are like, no, don't do it. That's weird. That's blah, blah, blah. And that could maybe one day be your passion. If you don't go and try that thing out, you're not going to be able to find your passion. So you have to first be yourself to find your passion. I can't tell you how to find your passion specifically. I know I say specifically weird. It's been like that my whole life. But to find your passion, you have to first be yourself, or else it won't be unlocked. And you have to be fearless with everything you do in your life if you want to truly find that passion. I'll give y'all an example of being fearless. So I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I go to Philadelphia. I'm in my apartment in Philadelphia right now, and I go to Temple University. I'm a junior at Temple University, if you don't know already. But I'm a Cowboys fan, and if you know anything about football, you know anything about the NFL, Cowboys and Eagles, probably the biggest rivalry ever in sports, and that's arguable, whatever. From my knowledge, from where I am, it's probably the biggest rivalry ever. I can't get on the subway without getting yelled at with my Cowboys jersey on. I can't walk the streets in Philadelphia without getting the FU, go to H, whatever, without hearing any of that with my Cowboys jersey on. And I realized throughout my life, this is a great analogy for what I'm speaking right now, because I was fearless every moment I put on my Cowboys jersey. I was fearless every moment I was just a Cowboys fan, regardless of everybody else. You see, everybody else was a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Everybody else said, I want the Eagles to win when the Cowboys played the Eagles. But I was the one kid in the group who was like, no, Dak Prescott is gonna beat Carson Wentz in the game this week, and I promise you that. And I'm that Cowboys fan that always thinks we're going to the Super Bowl. But I was fearless in every moment, and I look back on it, and I'm so proud of myself for being so fearless with my Cowboys jersey on, because I wasn't allowing anybody else to decide who I was. I wasn't allowing anybody else to dictate my happiness. I would watch the games. If the Cowboys won, I'm the happiest man on the planet. But imagine if I was watching the game as an Eagles fan because I was trying to fit in, and then the Eagles won, I still wouldn't be happy. If you decide to do things that aren't your happiness or aren't your passion, things that aren't you, regardless of the result, you're not going to be happy. And you don't want to be in that position. But I'll tell you what, as a Cowboys fan, even if we lose, I'm way more happier than if I was an Eagles fan and the Eagles won. So decide to take that fearless road. Decide to take a life that isn't seen by other people. This isn't normal. Most people decide to get in the lane of normality. But I want all of you to commit to this road of your own thing. Something I can't teach you. This is something only you can teach yourself. I'm just telling you there's a lane out there for you. And you have to make it for yourself. You have to put on the Cowboys jersey. It's crazy, but you have to put on the Cowboys jersey, because when you put on the Cowboys jersey in Philadelphia, they're going to hate you regardless. But you're going to love yourself regardless. And if you can do that, you're taking the first step to greatness. I compare it to unscrewing something. If you're unscrewing something, the first little, I don't know what you call this motion, but the first little motion you're doing like this is probably the hardest motion you can ever do, because you're trying to get that first little nudge. But every moment you go further in that little nudge, it gets easier and easier. But without that first nudge, you don't even lock the rest of the screw. So do that first little nudge and decide to be yourself. I'm not saying you're just going to be yourself with a snap of a finger, but if you can decide to take that first hard nudge, you're taking the first step of greatness. And you got to understand that if you decide not to take on that first nudge, if you decide to put on the Eagles jersey, you're going to become average. You're going to let the world, like Play-Doh, conform you to whatever it wants you to be. I want you to make your own Play-Doh. I want you to be yourself and unlock all the potential you have, because I believe everybody has infinite potential. You just have to unlock it. So let's get into it. I got another segment on why beauty is so simple. If you like what you saw or heard in the last video, please hit the like button for me, and also go to our page and click the follow button. And while you're at the follow button, go to the bio and click the little link right there. It says therootofeverything.com, where you can access all of our full episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, to access everything I'm trying to give to this world. And you can also hit the button that says the weekly root for our weekly newsletter of everything, Root of Everything.